I'm Leonard Riggs, and welcome to my podcast From My Head to Your Ears. Today, I'm going to talk about a bunch of random stuff. Got a lot of things on my mind, and thought I'd share them with you. Hopefully, I'll make you laugh, I'll make you cry, I'll make you kiss 30 minutes goodbye. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a break, and I will be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and I'm back, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears, and this particular episode of my podcast is called Randomly Random, partly because I couldn't find a subject in particular to talk about. I'm going through a lot of stress right now, and I think my creative side has suffered a little bit. But I do have a lot of things on my mind, and I thought now's the time to just kind of talk about several things. And I'll try to keep it within the segment that I'm currently recording. One thing huge on my mind, and I'm just kind of dreading it, is next year is an election year. And I really was turned off by the ugliness of the election. It was that the last election year was just awful. We were going through a lot of things, COVID and the Black Lives Matter riots and all just things that were just terrible. And then Trump, the Democrats hated the Trump. They didn't hate Trump as much as they hated the Trump supporters. It just divided our country in such a horrible way, and I'm not blaming Democrats and I'm not blaming Republicans, because it just really bothered me that we were all so divided in so many sections. And I don't think in my lifetime I'd ever seen such division in our country. It was so sad. And it wasn't just Democrats and Republicans. It was families and friends. And oh my gosh, what a horrible mess. I think, honestly, we have technology to blame for a lot of it. We've all gotten this wonderful privilege of sharing our opinion immediately on the internet, and it's caused, with great privilege comes great responsibility. A lot of people have the stance of, I don't care what I say, I don't care who I offend. I don't agree with that. I think you should be responsible and say things in a careful way. I don't think you need to offend. People have been killed over arguments. I'm just saying that. Words are important. They're not just words. Someone said they're just words. No. You should... It's wonderful to be passionate about something. You can't just... Everybody's got reasons for feeling the way they do. People have researched. People take things a different way. We're all different. Every one of us as an individual, I don't care what color, race, whatever, sexual orientation, we are all individuals. It's personalities are like fingerprints, and opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one. So you got a jillion people with a jillion thoughts, and the like thoughts, I guess, going together. And I didn't feel like it was Biden versus Trump. I felt it was just American versus Americans, and the insults were disgusting. And am I above that? No, I have my political beliefs. First of all, I never, ever, ever, and never will put my trust in a politician. politics are ugly, and I find voting a great privilege and a responsibility, but it's really hard when you don't really like either candidate. You tend to go for the lesser of the evils. I'm kind of a funny human being. I'm a conservative minded. I'm not liberal. I won't say I'm liberal, but I'm very accepting of people's differences. I don't judge people. I try not to judge people on their differences. I'm human. I have my reasons for being the way I am. I try to evolve as I get older, but I feel like the older I get, the less I understand. It's just kind of, the more I know, the more confusing it gets, because the more information you have, the more jumbled it gets. It's just, people surprise me every day. But I don't find this political fighting is just a turnoff for me. I honestly quit pointing fingers at people and research, and don't put your total faith in somebody. That's just wrong. It's a scary thing to do. I look back at history, my history, and I think President Johnson was the president when I was born. I was too young to remember him. I do remember Nixon. I do know people like Nixon, and he was reelected to another term, and then the Watergate scandal blew up, which was very damaging to our country. And I know that time there was a lot of protesting and the Vietnam War and all things going on. Talk about a really explosive time to live in. But I was so young, I didn't absorb a lot of it. That I remember the protesting and things, and I remember Watergate really well, because basically it interrupted my Saturday morning cartoons, which really made me mad as a child. And what I learned was to not like Nixon. What I grew up feeling that he was just the worst president ever because he committed a crime, but he wasn't the worst president ever. He wasn't the greatest president ever. He had his faults, but he had his good points. Obviously, he was elected twice. So, historically, he was a crook, but in reality, he was liked enough and respected enough to be elected twice. President Ford, I just remember him falling down a lot. I just really don't remember. The last thing I was worried about as a president in 1975. Jimmy Carter, a lot of people hated him as well. And, of course, he was a one-term president. He was, I don't particularly remember anything bad about him. I think Jimmy Carter as a human being is a nice man. I think he's done some great things as a human being, not as a president. I always thought it was cool that Amy Carter was my age, and that was a big cool thing. I thought someone my age was living in the White House. Ronald Reagan is considered beloved by many people. I don't remember him being beloved in office. I remember a lot of people not liking him as well, but now that he's passed into legend, he was one of the greatest presidents that ever lived. It's hypocrisy, actually. I don't like that either. Like I said, I don't put a lot of faith in politicians. Ronald Reagan was very, he had a lot of personality. He was a very memorable president. He was a good leader. I can't deny that. He had the presence to be a leader. Let's see. Bill Clinton was youngish and kind of fit in with our society at the time. I considered myself a Democrat at that time, with very liberal leanings for that time. I don't know. I've evolved from that. I don't consider myself Republican or Democrat now. I'm just kind of crossing the fence. And people find that offensive. Make up your mind. You are this or you are that. What is it? No, I'm not. I truly try to vote for the best person that I feel is the best. I kind of weigh the pros and cons, and right now, one of the biggest, most sensitive issues I find, and this is going to be a big deal next year, it's bubbling under, is the whole transgender thing. And people really are against that, or really feel that people have the right to choose what they feel they are in their heart. It's hard to judge people because I don't know what's going on in their mind. I don't know their experiences. But I do know that it's getting quite interesting. And it's another issue that's going to tear us up next year. You have my, in my honest opinion, I really think that's going to be a huge thing. I'm watching this, the Bud Light issue, whereas Bud Light chose to support one group, and then the other group got mad, and then they pulled out of support for the other group, and then they made the other group mad. Now they got everybody mad at them. So, what a mess that is. I don't know. There seems to be just a huge lack of common sense going on in the whole world right now. And I don't know that anybody would disagree with that. It's just, what a mess that is. By being so afraid to offend, I hope I'm making sense. I'm trying to say things carefully. I kind of leaned on this or that on the podcast that I deleted, the podcast segment that I deleted. Because like I said, politics is such a hot topic and such a volatile subject. I don't want to offend anybody. A friend of mine's a huge Republican, and he teases that I'm a tree hugger. I am not a tree hugger. Although I love trees. And I probably would chain myself to a tree if someone chopped my favorite tree down. I'll tell you who I am. Not politically, but my belief system. And if this is, you can label me if you want, that you don't know what's in my heart, because I don't find everything right. I don't agree that you can paint your butt green and go do what you want. Boy, I'm trying to be careful here. I believe in common sense. I know what I've been taught. I know what's right. I know basic rights. You don't kill. I don't agree with murder, obviously. You don't steal and you don't lie. And that's my 3 basics. And you don't hurt purposely. That's just stupid. And judging people is another thing I find offensive. I'm judgmental. I've got a friend that tells me I get on my high horse. I just want people to do what's right. That's my thing. I'm very big on loyalty. It's like me watching. Now, I'm not going to offend my family members. Don't take it this way. I'm very loyal to my mom and dad. They have been there for me forever. I have received unconditional love from them. Were they perfect? No. They've made me mad. I've made them mad. but my mom and dad loved me, and there is no question in my mind that they didn't. Not 1 ounce, I cannot say. And as for taking care of my mom, I feel that she is mine. I'm the child that never got married, and my parents remain very much a part of my life. And now that my mom's down, my sisters have families and they have lives of their own. I don't. They were my life, and I feel like I made an unspoken promise to my dad to take care of her. He relied on me a lot in his last days because she was starting Alzheimer's. Now, looking back, I know that. And he was worried about her, even though his health was failing. I'll talk more about caregiving in another segment here in this podcast, but I can remember my mom would have these falling spells where she'd fall, and he would try to help her up, and he was so frail. He would fall, and I would be sleeping for midnight shifts, and they would hit the door. Help! And I'd go in there, and they'd both be on the floor giggling, and I'd have to try to figure out who to lift first. But yeah, I'm very loyal to my parents and their memory, and I will take care of my mom till I can't take care of her, or if it's dangerous to continue to take care of her, her health is gonna suffer. But politically, I really do have different friends of different situations. I'm trying to be careful. I don't have and yet I'm a loner. But anyway, it's a volatile situation, and I'm really, really nervous for our country in this next election year. Please try to get along. Quit being so judgmental and quick-tempered, and just remember this too. Your opinion isn't always... You don't always need to share your opinion. You don't need to argue with somebody. If someone states their opinion on the internet, I think it's baiting people to debate. And it immediately gets ugly, because immediately people get angry. So, first of all, watch what you say. Learn how to say something. And be aware that people are sensitive, and be aware that people are going to get angry. There are people that like to stir up the pot. And you, on the other hand, be aware of that. Be aware when you're being baited to be mad. Be aware when someone's trying to make you mad. On the other hand. Boy, I feel like I'm not making any sense. I hope I am. I know what I mean. I think this segment's gone on long enough, and plus my throat's getting sore, so I'm gonna end this segment, and stay tuned. I will talk about much more in this randomly random podcast. I'll be back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and welcome back to my randomly random podcast. And this is From My Head to Your Ears. And I still need a theme song. Nobody's coming forward to help me. I guess I'll have to do it myself. But anyway, oh God. I wonder how I could go about that. Does anybody have any ideas? Actually, I was pretty good at writing song lyrics as a teenager. I might be able to come up with one myself if I can use modern technology and auto-tune. I don't know. I was thinking about how fast this year is going. It's just flying by. 2023, I've had a lot of really crappy moments this year. I was thinking at the beginning of the year, I worried, I'm a caregiver for my mom, and I worry, is this the last year I'll have my mom with me? A lot of people think that I will be relieved when she's gone. I've been doing this for 7 years, but my mom is adorable, and I love when I wake up and I always, this is morbid, but I always check to see if she's still breathing. I'm not being funny there. This is true. Maybe some caregivers know what I'm talking about. But I always, I kind of pat her and I lightly wake her up just to make sure she's okay. And I always adjust her covers and kiss her on the head. I'm lucky she sleeps at night because I work early day shifts. But I always worry, will this be the last year? And everybody says you'll have a sense of relief, but I won't miss the stress of doing this because this is very stressful. Finding sitters, trying not to miss work because I have to work. I'm going through a situation as I speak. Trying to get my mom's care while I work straightened out. My sister is helping me right now. My other sister broke her arm. She lives around the corner from us, and it was just a perfect marriage of convenience there. And she's doing a great job with mom. And my other sister, Kim, she's a natural caregiver. And I wish she could do this more often, but she has a life outside of this. So anyway, I'm not looking forward to that, dealing with the fact that I will no longer have parents after she passes. It's kind of a thought in my head, and it's a reality. Another thing, on my mom's last doctor's appointment, I love my mom's doctor, Dr. Jenkins. She's a sweet lady, and she's a caregiver for her mother, and she understands a lot about this. And she looks at me and says, "You need to take care of yourself too," because oftentimes you put yourself last, and I do. I don't take care of myself. My mom's my number one priority. I think the hardest thing with me being a caregiver, I am a single man, and I didn't have children, and I have been on my own, and I really like being on my own. I'm not one of these people that longs for companionship. I just don't. I like alone time. I'm very much a loner. So giving my me time up has been hard on me because it's necessary to my existence as being Leonard. But I don't mind giving it up for my mom. I rarely go anywhere. I really don't go anywhere. I tend to work and come home, and on my days off, I am in the house all day. But that's okay. This too shall pass. My best friend moved, and his wife, who's my other good friend, they moved 400 miles away, and we were kind of running around friends. We always went places and stuff, and they're not around anymore, but it's okay. I don't feel that I'm really missing anything. I've got things to do, and taking care of my mom is important to me. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I really don't think I will be relieved when she passes. I'm gonna be very... I miss my dad immensely. He was my best friend, my movie buddy, everything. And my mom has been my rock too. What I miss is having my mom being mom. I miss her cooking, and I miss our conversations, and I miss that. She's very sweet now, and she's fun. She has this little things that she does that are so cute and funny, and I'll miss the little noises she makes, the little sound effects, I call them. She does a raspberry every day. Just, that. I don't know when she started that, but she does. I know, and that's funny too. When I wake up and I know she's awake, because she'll go with, which is so cute and hilarious. That got on my nerves so bad when she started first doing that, because it was like, what are you doing? Because she still had a lot of her, she still was not all gone. She still would have moments of lucidity, but this raspberry thing she does, I don't know where it came from. My mom was a Sunday school teacher and very ladylike, and she would make that noise just as a joke, like when my dad would say something she didn't agree with, she'd go, well, that's basically what she's doing, but she does it all the time. And one time she was doing that so much that I finally went like that, and she looked at me, that was a good one. Oh, it's just, she's so adorable. I can't stand it. Oh gosh. I could do without the diaper changing and stuff. That's always a blast, but I know she had to change me a few times. I tell her that sometimes. I'm like, Mom, you're getting revenge on me, aren't you? This is karma. She'll just giggle. We laugh a lot. I sing to my mom a lot. Sometimes she loves it. Sometimes she looks at me like, shut up. Or, what's wrong with you? She just does these little looks. And my cats love her. My cats sleep by her. My Livy and Sunny especially, they just very gently sleep by her, like they're watching her. It's I wouldn't trade this for anything. I enjoy watching my mom, and I have a theory that you can't get through this life without caring for somebody, and I'm putting my time in as a caregiver. Anyway, I'm going to take a break and talk about something else, whatever I pull out of my head. I'll be right back. And I'm back. From my head to your ears, I'm Leonard Riggs. I was talking about being a caregiver. A lot of things I've had to kind of adjust my viewing habits, like television viewing habits, to kind of watch movies that she can watch. I have a big movie festival in October, 31 days of horror films, a movie a night, if not a couple of movies a night, for the entire month of October. And I used to, when I started this, I could watch movies in my room and watch stuff like The Exorcist and stuff like that my mom would not like to watch. So, but now I have to kind of go mild and watch older horror films. And of the last 2 years, she started enjoying watching them with me, but I try to keep them, nothing profane or awful. But I enjoy watching movies with my mom. She still responds very well to movies. It's kind of odd. I think I mentioned it past podcasts. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. I don't know how she responds to like Grease and still sings along. She was singing along to the chorus of You're the One That I Want last time. But a lot of times I find I watch what I want but she's enjoying it. Like Charlie's Angels, she loves to watch. I can tell she enjoys it. And I like the old 70s detective shows like that. Barnaby Jones and Columbo and McMillan and Wife with Rock Hudson and Susan St. James. Enjoy watching those, and seems like my mom just enjoys watching them with me. And it kind of goes back to how I enjoyed television with my dad. You know, me and my dad had the same tastes. He could watch scary movies. He didn't have a problem with that. My dad's favorite movie of all time was Frankenstein. You know, the original. So I got my love of monster movies from my dad, my friend Craig Edwards, and my sister Kim. So it's just that way. But my sisters will put on religious programming, which makes my mom really docile, and I think it relaxes her. But I'm not a fan of... I sound like I'm a heathen, but I'm not a fan of religious broadcasting. I'm not what am I trying to say here? I'm not trying to down religion. I just don't enjoy religious television. But sometimes if I'm doing something else, I just let it play. I do like to hear gospel music, though. She likes to hear gospel music as well. I don't like sloppy modern gospel music. I like the old time gospel music, and I can listen to that all day. I grew up with that, so I used to sing religious songs in the tape recorder with my sister when I was a kid. Were we good? I'm not saying we were good, but we enjoyed singing them. Gosh, I wish I could have some of those tapes back. I'm sure it would be funny to hear my 7-year-old version of the old Rugged Cross again. Talk about entertaining. Boy, I am being random, huh? But television's just a good time passer. And I like to buy those season sets of those old shows. And my mom watches Kolchak the Night Stalker with me, which I play that quite often. In Star Trek. Check, she's enjoying Star Trek. And that was a father-son thing with me and Dad. And I'm a big Star Trek fan, huge Star Trek fan. Love Star Trek and The Next Generation. I like the new Star Treks that are on Paramount Plus. But like I said, I'm enjoying this time with my mom right now. I appreciate these last years, and she's almost like my child. So, yeah. I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back with more stuff. From My Head to Your Ears is back with Leonard Riggs, and that's me. And I'm being really random, which is something I'm very good at. If you could get inside my mind, you would find that it's like an amusement park ride with Ferris wheels and rides and clowns and elephants and popcorn and candy. I got the whole works in there. I'm pretty crazy, actually. I'm very good at being random, of course. A million thoughts always go through my head, and sometimes it keeps me awake. Hopefully I'm keeping you awake right now, not putting you to sleep. I know there's several listeners who tell me they go to sleep, and you know who I'm talking about. If you're out there, I'm good for something, right? My podcast is better than a sleeping pill. Just call me melatonin, man. I don't know. I was talking about season sets of TV shows. I enjoy binge watching shows. Of course, a lot of people use Netflix and all that stuff, but I tend to like to have hard copies of things. First of all, I don't have a very good internet right now, so my streaming stuff kind of comes and goes, and it's irritating. Although, DVDs and Blu-rays can skip too, but I try not to. I really enjoy binge watching, like I said. So I've watched Kolchak the Night Stalker so many times it's not funny. There's only 23 episodes of that show and 2 movies, and I've watched them over and over, and I always find something I didn't notice before. So I enjoy Darren McGavin's narrations, and the characters are so well written in this show, and I love that show. It's beloved to me in my world. If you've never heard of Kolchak the Night Stalker, check it out. They tried to remake it a few years ago, and they did a terrible job. It was awful, and they totally missed the charm of the original series. But anyway, McMillan. I talk about McMillan and Wife with Rock Hudson and Susan St. James. I love Susan St. James. I always had a crush on her. When I was a kid, I just thought she was beautiful. And it's kind of funny, I had a type back then because I liked Susan St. James and Kate Jackson. Kate was my favorite angel. And she was also in Dark Shadows, which is a great show. I would love... Dark Shadows, for those of you that don't know, was a soap opera back in the late 60s, early 70s that aired on ABC in the afternoon. And it was oftentimes live, but it had a character named Barnabas Collins. Johnny Depp did a remake or a update or a reboot of that with Dark Shadows, the movie a few years ago that was really awful. He basically made it a comedy, and that kind of irritated me a lot because he was he was a fan of Dark Shadows. Johnny Depp wanted to remake Kolchak the Night Stalker, but by God, if he did it the way he did Dark Shadows, I don't want him to have any part of it. Even though I'm a huge fan of Mr. Depp, I think they messed up on Dark Shadows. It would have been a great gothic horror movie. There's actually 2 movies from the 70s based on the TV series, and they're pretty Kate Jackson's in one of them, actually. I think they're available on Blu-ray or DVD. If so, look them up if you like older movies and check them out. If you've never seen Dark Shadows. They did a remake of Dark Shadows in the 80s, wasn't it? The 80s? And with Ben Stone as Barnabas Collins. And it didn't last very long. But they basically remade the series verbatim. I mean, it was a total remake of refilming of the original scripts. So, with an 80s twist. But I think TV in the 1970s was awesome. The 80s, I liked a lot of stuff in the 80s too. Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd and Bruce Willis is one of my all-time favorites. And I also have that on DVD. That show the first season is the most fun of that series, and then it kind of, as they begin to get bigger stars, they kind of lost track of what was charming about the show. The first season was a lot of fun, and Bruce Willis was really charming, and Sybil Shepherd was charming and beautiful, and yeah, they just had good chemistry, even though I understand they didn't like each other. I told you I'm being random. I'm just going all over the place. I'm very good at that, actually. I don't watch a lot of new television. I don't watch any TV series on network television. There's nothing I watch on there. I don't care for commercials, and I do have Paramount Plus. I love the new Star Trek stuff. I love Discovery, Strange New Worlds. I didn't like the first 2 seasons of Picard, but I understand the third season's amazing, and it's more like a 10-hour Next Generation movie, and I want to watch it, but I'm going to wait probably till it comes out on hard copy Blu-ray or DVD before I watch it. Strange New Worlds is coming out. With my mom's caregiving, my attention spans. Most of these I have to watch on my phone because that's the only time I can enjoy streaming. It doesn't skip as much, and I have to put headphones on. So I don't do that because I really need to keep an eye on my mom. So, and I tend to try to watch TV with her, not just turning on and not paying attention. But I feel like I've really had spent 30 minutes of your time just talking about really nothing and everything. And I guess that's what being random is all about. So I think I've achieved what I was setting out to do, being randomly random. I'm going to take a break and wrap this up. I'll be right back. And I'm back, and this is From My Head to Your Ears, and as I've stated many times, I'm Leonard Riggs, and I am being randomly random, which is the name of this particular podcast episode. I was talking about being a caregiver again. I've kind of come back to that subject several times, and one of the casualties of my life in the last few years was my sanity. No, I was more, after my dad died, I began having very bad anxiety attacks, and I finally got some medicine for it, and it kind of helped me a lot, but I was finding myself dealing with the public is getting more and more difficult because people are always in a hurry, and my style of clerking is going out of style. Nobody wants to talk or chat or know anything about you. I feel like I'm a robot sometimes. And I know I get on people's nerves, but anyway, all that combined was making me really anxious. So I'm taking some medicine and it's helping me not be anxious, but I asked the doctor to up it, and he said he couldn't, but he can give me a supplement. I started taking it, and I found myself being 3 times as hostile, so I stopped taking it. But the other day in my store, we have these game rooms in Illinois, and people gamble pretty early, but I have to do these store readiness surveys early in the morning to send to corporate to show that our store is ready for business and everything's kosher. And we just do that. And one of the things, I have to go in the game room, and this young lady was in there who had cashed in some change to play a game, and she wasn't very friendly, very I'm all about vibes people give off. She gave a very bad vibe, not a very nice person. I just, the vibe I got off of her. So I go in the room to do the survey, and I have to take several pictures of several things, and I stated to her, and I was alone with her in there, which makes me uncomfortable. I don't like to be one-on-one with people that I don't know for whatever reason. I stated, I'm taking pictures. I will not get you in the picture. I said it. Whatever. So she goes, well, I didn't give you permission to put me on film or on camera. And I was like, ma'am, I just told you. And I said, I blurted it out. I'm not going to lie. I said, well, thank you for being so rude so early in the morning that it ruined my whole day, because one person can ruin your whole day. And I was mad about that. I'm still mad about it, but I was still taking that medicine, and that came out really a lot more hostile than I wanted it to. And, I kind of stormed out and went in the back room, and she got a good cussing. Everybody's telling me, you need to stop taking that stuff. And I was like, I am in agreement. That's it. I'm going to stop immediately. But, you have to watch yourself dealing with the public anymore. It's so volatile anymore. And that's where I started this podcast about the politics and everybody being so politically sensitive anymore and hostile. And this world is getting more hostile, and I don't like it. So I don't know how we can make it better, but I'm going to end this by saying this. Be more understanding. Be aware that we're all dealing with things, and be a little more sensitive to people. Don't go there with subjects that are going to cause fights. Learn to debate without getting hostile or getting mad. Agree to disagree. And I think this world will be a better place. And I'm going to leave you. I feel like I should sing a nice song. I don't know. I won't do that to you, though, because I want the world to be better, not awful. So I'm going to get off here, and I hope you've enjoyed this randomly random podcast. Yeah, okay, I admit it. I had no idea what I was going to talk about, so I just thought I'll talk about whatever I want to. So it's my podcast, and I'll say what I want. And we can agree to disagree. So I'm going to get off here and go watch TV with my mom and play with my cats. And thank you for listening. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is From My Head to Your Ears. And I'm telling you, I need a theme song. I'll be back soon with another podcast whenever I feel like it. Okay? Take care.